How are you enjoying Stewardship Month? Right? You know, some centers don't like to talk about money or abundance. They kind of skirt around it. That's not how we roll at MVC, is it? We just go right at what we want. We've talked about our theme, Dancing with the Richness of Life, which Reverend Karen Russo gave us a beautiful start to. And we've talked about how to attain that abundant mindset on the inside of ourselves with Reverend Karen Einhaus. And so we're done, right? See, the thing is, we tend to do life with other people. There are other people involved in our experience. And so it's important that we learn how to work with our abundance teams. And it requires interdependence. It requires leaning into one another. And we have our slide that shows kind of the cycle of our talks as we move through this week. And it starts with dancing with the richness of life, and it moves to going within. And this week we're on together in those small groups of people with whom we walk life. Our family, our circle of friends, our work teams. We have all these groups, right? That really, if the group doesn't flourish, we don't flourish. And so we have to take that wonderful abundance mindset and walk it out with other people who may not go to the New Vision Center and may never have heard of Ernest Holmes or New Thought. I think it's getting hard to find anybody who hasn't heard of affirmations or abundance or manifesting, right? Thanks to what I call the Oprah effect that has rippled through the world. But we get to open up to what it's like to work through these ideas with other people. And luckily, we have this beautiful little pattern that was set out by Reverend Dr. Catherine Ponder, who's a Unity minister who wrote, 7 million books approximately, 6 million of them on various forms of abundance. She's a wonderful resource if you're looking to, especially with audiobooks, if you just want to have that voice in your ear of abundance, look up some Catherine Ponder. She's good stuff. But she gave us this pattern, and it looks like this. She says, it's having a plan and expanding it consciously. It's mentally imagining that plan is fulfilled and constantly affirming it as perfect fulfillment. Easy, right? Until you add in the other people. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. Having a plan. Well, that's work even when it's just our own selves, right? We have to really be able to look at what is going in our favor so far. Where are the spaces where we need to create something that will work in a stronger way? What part of ourselves are we willing to put on mute, or at least turn down the volume? You know, the voices in your head going, this will never work. No one believes you. You're a crazy lady. You know, all those voices. Is it just me? Perhaps it's just me, and that's fine. Step one of having a plan in a group is to come to an agreement on what success means for that group. You know, in family, what makes for a happy and prosperous life? What does that mean? I know in the group participation activities where I have not felt successful, almost always it came down to that we did not agree on what success looked like. We didn't agree on the pace. We didn't agree on the outcome. We didn't agree on how we were going to get there. We just had different ideas, and that's okay. But you want to make sure that before you launch any of your abundance teams, that you've come up with something that you are all willing to work toward. Yeah? This can mean catching a vision together. Now, there's the colloquial meaning of that, right? Like we all just got on the same boat and started rowing, and we agreed we were heading to San Juan. I wonder how that's going to work. However, there's a deeper meaning to the word vision, to catch a vision. It's more than an idea. It's a spiritual idea. And it's a practice. You can do it yourself. You can do it in small groups. You can make it very religious with languaging. You can make it not very religious with languaging if you so choose. But the idea is, what does Spirit, the universe, what's the biggest idea out there for our team? If this is new news to you, that there is such a thing called visioning, perhaps you will check out the visioning class that practitioner Rachel Sartori is going to teach starting in just a few weeks. It can guide you through what it's like to catch a vision with someone. Creating this vision, creating this plan is not onboarding everybody to your idea and convincing them why your idea is the idea. Now, let's take a moment of, but I really like my idea. I bet you do. I bet it's a good idea. It involves listening as well as talking. And it often means listening more than talking. So we take a breath, because that can be challenging. But guess what? Everybody on your team, in your circle, in your work cohort, in your volunteer project, everyone on your team has just as many good ideas as you do. And at least one of them has something better. Breathe again. I know that's hard. There is brilliance surrounding you. There is a reason you landed where you are with the people who you landed with. What if we acted like that? If this is difficult for you, if this is new news, perhaps you would like to check out the remaining 3 sessions of Revealing the Power of Love Through Effective Communication that our Leadership Council President, Nancy Harkins, is facilitating. It's love offering. You have no excuses. When we're catching a vision together as a group, everybody has to be on board. And when we can hear each other, when we can let those big ideas wash through without focusing on shooting them down so my idea wins, that's just me, right? Yeah, figured. It opens us up to this new way of operating where we trust that Spirit, as each one of us is bringing just exactly what is needed in any conversation. Here at New Vision Center with leadership, we often work through a process that we call consensus. And it is slow. And it can sometimes be just a titch painful. But what it guarantees is that by the time we are complete, every single person in the group is on board with what is chosen. And we ask ourselves 3 questions. And I really invite you to take these 3 questions into your life, whether you use them in a group or just in your own heart. The first one, does it fit the vision? See, you have to have the vision first, right? But does it fit the vision? And the second one, is the motive pure? And that's really something you decide on the inside of yourself, right? Am I on board? Am I getting along to get along? Or am I really in this? And the third one, does it feel forced? Is it not ready yet? Is it a little half-baked? Does it need some space? Does it fit the vision? Is the motive pure? Does it feel forced? And if everyone in the group can answer yes, if it's the vision, yes, the motive is pure, no, it does not feel forced, now you know you're in the same boat. Now you know you're heading in the right direction. Is it as easy as somebody just saying, I'm the mom and I win? No. But in a way it is, because I've done my share of I'm the mom and I win. I've done my share of because I say so. I've done my share of I'm the minister. That just doesn't work here because the way we do things, but I tried, man. But later on, there's not the meeting of the teenagers in the bedroom about how much mom sucks. There's not the meeting in the parking lot of the other team member saying somebody has to shut her down, she's a control freak. There aren't the quiet backing out of, oh, I was going to be on that team, but now I'm not because it's just kind of not my thing, right? In the big picture, it is easier. Everyone coming together with full hearts and full minds just works better. And it works better whether you're planning prosperity in the form of actual money, or prosperity and abundance in the form of a beautiful community event that everyone feels connected in, or whether it's a girls' trip to Cancun. Woo! There are like 3 people coming. I hear who you are. So that's having a plan and expanding it consistently, like continuing to go back to it. Is this still the plan? Is it time to shake it up? You know who the shaker-upper is in our community? Reverend Karen Ninehouse. Every trip. She comes back and says, okay, we need to do this differently. We're all going to do a little bit less, and we're going to be really, really calm and chill. Spirit's going to guide us. It's awesome. And here are the 14 things I thought of that we're going to add to the schedule. And they're great ideas. And so I do my breathing, and I get on the boat because they're great ideas. So once we have the plan set, now we have to mentally imagine the plan as fulfilled, as beautifully fulfilled, right? This is using our clarity, our imagination, our mental power to see through to the end of the plan and know that it is done beautifully. We've all done this. We've all either planned a wedding, completed an education, set a goal, built a business, and seen it to fruition, yeah? So we know it's possible. We know that we can do this. And so can everybody on your team. But can they connect to seeing this plan you're baking together? Can they move through? You know that you're in a little bit of trouble when, okay, journey with me. You're with your team and you see a commercial on the TV, and on the TV is someone eating a big old bowl of Lucky Charms. You know, Lucky Charms, cereal. The marshmallows make the little squeak sound when you bite into them. It's good stuff. And your friend says, oh, must be nice. I'm never going to have that. You're a little perplexed, right? You say, well, you can get it at the grocery store. Like, they have them at all of them, pretty much, except for Sprouts, maybe. So you could have that. You could totally have that. No, that's for rich people. I'm not that. It's like $4 for the little box, right? Maybe $6.99 for the big one. And I think you could swing it if you wanted to, have some Lucky Charms. If that's your priority, you have issues. Spending $6 on cereal in this economy? You could use your free will you freedom. You could choose that. You could maybe not buy a different cereal that week and have some Lucky Charms. I just don't believe I can have that. It just doesn't fit who I am. You could redefine who you think you are. It's not for people like me. It's for the beautiful people. I'm not worth Lucky Charms. And scene. It sounds silly, but only because I use Lucky Charms. If I had put a certain kind of car, or a certain kind of handbag, or that trip to Cancun, the whole story would be the same, wouldn't it? Because people get in their head what they're allowed to have as the person they see themselves being and what they're not allowed to have, which is very different than making a choice, using that freedom. What we're talking about here is called a mental equivalent. It's the biggest expression that you can relate to in a certain field that you think you can really have. So None of us have a hard time believing we can have Lucky Charms, right? What about that new Mercedes? Maybe, right? What about that new jet that Jeff Bezos just bought? Like, kind of the most I can get to there is maybe I could get on that jet. I don't know how, but I can see a way in the world that I might end up on that jet for some reason. Go somewhere fun, do a cool thing. What about that multiple billions of dollars that Jeff Bezos has? Does that feel authentically available to you? Wherever you jumped off this train, that's your mental equivalent. Now, the good news is it's not static. It doesn't stay the same. It's not like you're born and you're given middle class, and you're born and you get upper middle class, and you're born and you get filthy frickin' rich. That's not how it works. It's a thought. It's a thought process. And we can increase our mental equivalent by playing little games. I've shared this up here before, but I think it's worth saying again. Reverend Dr. Michelle Medrano says, if you spot it, you got it. Like, if you can see it out there in the world, then you can have it. It's within you to see it, because if it wasn't for you, you wouldn't even perceive it. There are billions and billions of kind of handbags in the world. Why can I spot a Birkin from like 100 yards away? I can. I know it. I sense it. There are a million kinds of cars, but I bet you see the one you want everywhere, right? In the right color. And every time you think, man, I wish I could have one of those, it's like the Lucky Charms, right? It's like the Lucky Charms. Do you prioritize that? Are you open to it appearing in an unusual way? So this is a game for us, but it's also something that we can help the rest of the members of our teams get on board with. Gently, softly. And my favorite way to do that is to say, I used to think like that. Yeah, I get what you're saying. I used to think like that. And I've shifted it a little bit. Maybe I'll shift it even more, because it feels good to obtain the thing, the experience, the relationship, the job, the academic accomplishment that I thought wasn't for me back in the day. At 38, with 5 kids, 4 of them still at home, I did not think a master's degree was for me in that moment. Spirit had a different idea, and I'm brave enough to go along. Perhaps you are the one with the different idea in your abundance team, whichever one you're thinking of now, to open up to that bigger thing and gently invite your friends along. Ernest Holmes wrote in the book, Your Invisible Power, how much life, abundance, truth, beauty can we mentally entertain? This is the measure of our possible experience. This is the mold of acceptance. The infinite fills all molds and flows forever into new and greater ones. It's the unborn possibility of limitless experience. We give birth to it. We bring it forth. Spirit doesn't care a whit about big or small. There's a wonderful essay in Living the Science of Mind where Ernest says there's no more life in an ant than an elephant. Spirit does not know big and small. It just knows yes. It just knows yes. If this is a spot where you struggle, this is a great topic to take for a one-on-one paid session with a practitioner. To help, and the reason practitioners are so helpful on this topic in particular is because we don't know what is true and what is a story we made up. It's a function of the human brain. We just don't. Especially when it's emotional, we get all revved up. You tell yourself something 150, 250 million times, and it becomes your truth. But practitioners can see through what you think is true to the falsehood underneath. They can see through it. They can remind you, and you'll know they're reminding you, even in like casual conversation when they say things like, that's a story. Or it sounds like you're really convinced about that. If you're ready to not be convinced, call a practitioner and make an appointment. One of the best things I ever did was respond to a call like this from the platform and made that call and started my practitioner experience that led me into becoming a practitioner and then a minister. There's something magic about somebody being able to see through the blinders you've put on yourself. So that is the mentally imagining that plan as fulfilled and inviting your team on the process. And then finally, we have constantly affirming its perfect fulfillment. Constantly affirming it. Going over that plan regularly for that constant expansion. Are we all still in the same boat? Because sometimes one of your team members has been creeping a leg over the edge of the boat, tootsies are in the water, and you've not noticed. And so then you have a great conversation. And maybe they're ready to be off the boat. And maybe that's okay. And maybe the boat can turn just a little bit to incorporate them back in. And maybe there's a misunderstanding going on and you just need to have the conversation again. Make sure that you're checking in about your plan, the big plan, regularly. The next one, I call it rowing together. You know, you're in the boat and we're rowing together. And how do we make sure we're rowing together? And it's practicing together, spiritual practice, whatever that means in your context. I'm not telling you to take spiritual mind treatment into the boardroom. But you may have noticed that there are ways to talk about this without saying the red light words. You can leave God at home. You can leave all the triggering language at home and just say, hey, what's a phrase we could use to pull ourselves back when we're off track? That's an affirmation, but we don't have to say that word. If it's family, if it's people that are open to practice, you can meditate together. You can be prayer partners together. You can have affirmations all over your wall. Have you guys noticed how many places we have words and phrases up on walls here on this campus? Because we're seeking to have that shared plan and row together. And what is our plan? It's revealing the power of love. How? Through teaching spiritual. I was going to say, I think you guys know this. We just said it. Teaching spiritual living and living spiritual teaching. And how much is the whole group on board? Let's try again. I think we're a little bit more on board than that. How much is the whole group on board? Yes, yes. Yeah, we need an enthused community if we're community-led. We need you guys in this thing. And then the final step as a team is to act from this truth you've discerned rather than fear. Because sometimes we get ourselves all worked up with the great plan, and when it's time to go, somebody's like, but that's going to cost a lot. That sounds like a lot of work. Who's going to take care of the shmubbity-shmub? I don't want to get stuck with everything. Yeah? Only teams I've been on? You guys are really good. I've heard of it happening. It can rise up in us like, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. And when it does, I invite you to take a breath and remember the truth behind your plan. Ernest said it this way in Know Yourself. He said, riches, and we're going to expand this to all kinds of richness, riches are not good if one is afraid to use them, or if they pile up so that they become cumbersome. The only thing that is of any good in life is the thing that is being used. The divine intends us to have abundance, but abundance must be accepted and used. And used. This is the law of circulation, right? It comes in, we are grateful, we share, we are grateful, it comes in, we are grateful, we share, we are grateful. Please don't be like me, who scrimped and saved to buy a bottle of La Mer cream. The 5 people in the room are like, ooh, ooh. And it was at a time where that was a major expense for me, and I used it so sparingly and so carefully that it went bad before I used it all. Don't do that. Use it. It's of no good to you if you do not use it. So here's the call of action. Pick a team. Pick any of your teams, the one that most lights you up in this moment, and start working on that plan. Where are we moving as a team together? What's the exciting forward momentum? And move through these 3 steps. Make the plan, mentally imagine it as fulfilled, and continue to affirm it. Who's on board? Yeah. Thank you, my MVC team. Let us take this into some prayer as we just open up into the goodness that always is right where we are, that is pure abundance, ever giving of itself to its creation, which is everyone and everything, including everyone within the sound of my voice. That is the place of yes, the mechanism of the universe to bring forth the new. It's my truth. Absolutely. I am one of the created. And it is the truth of everyone who hears this prayer. Each of us made perfect, whole, and complete in the light of divine goodness, with that abundance and that creativity built right into who we are. Ah, how good it is to know this truth. And so from this place, I just speak my word, knowing that every heart that brought something into this sanctuary, something to work on, that spirit is a yes to the resolution. That every medical condition or diagnosis that is being met with the yes of beautiful healing. That every fear is met with love. That every moment of anger is met with peace. That every place of stagnation is met with energy and fresh new ideas to reinvigorate life. This is where it starts, in the inside of each one of us. And as we open up our arms to create these teams, these powerful circles of abundance of all good things, life just gets richer. And I'm grateful to know this truth for and with each one, to know that there's no one outside of that great arm reach of spirit. We are held, it is good. And so I just release this word into the action of universal law, knowing it's been saying yes the whole darn time. So we just feed in that goodness and watch it come forth. And we let it be and say, and so it is.